Call Saul. Tonight's episode of Better Call Saul was it. How can I say? For those who do not know, I am the Black Guru. What I offer is sage wisdom. And this episode of Better Call Saul here was part of what I think is wrong with this show. It was a good episode, but sometimes Better Call Saul tries to be its own show, and when it tries to be its own show, it never really delivers on that very well. And what I mean by that is anytime the show is the precursor or when the show behaves as the prequel to Breaking Bad with Easter eggs and extended plot lines from the previous show, it hits. But anytime it ventures off and tries to become its own thing, it misses. It's just something I've noticed. And tonight's episode of Better Call Saul harkens back to season 2 and 3, in which they keep looping certain elements and looping certain characteristics. And I don't know if they're trying to extend the show for extension's sake, or are they really trying to get somewhere with these characters? I don't know. But tonight's episode, I'm going to be brief because I'm going to. I don't want to show about hard time following. Yeah, I can't really judge this episode of Better Call Saul without seeing next week's episode. I really need next week's episode to really fully understand this episode so I could really put these two episodes together and see if this episode was really good because it pays off next week, or did we just watch some shit just for the sake of watching. Because I don't know why, but for some reason Better Call Saul gets off, and the directors and writers, they get off on just showing people shit. I don't know what this is. I didn't like it in this season's opener, in which they just show people shit. They'll just zoom in on a pencil on a desk and just sit on that motherfucker for 10 seconds. You know, you'll be in an office, they'll zoom in on a pencil on a desk, they'll spend 6 seconds there, and then take you over to a coffee mug and spend 6 seconds there on a coffee mug. And I get the artistic, I get all that, but sometimes that shit's just, it's overdone. And the season opener was proof positive. But let's just get through this. Not a lot going on for me. We open up the episode. I guess they're fleshing out the plan for to get Huel off for slapping that cop. So they're writing a bunch of letters from his hometown and sending them from his hometown. We got Nacho here playing as Hector Salamanca, running the business while Hector is out on the commands of Gus. And he does a great job. He does exactly what Hector would do. It was pretty cool to watch this scene. One of my favorite scenes on tonight. Left the guy bloody. He got all this fucking jewelry on, but he owes the drug dealers money. If you owe me money, give me all that fucking jewelry you got on. The fuck you got all this gold on for? Take it off. Even if it's fake, give it here. So I really enjoyed that. Then the homie comes home. He got this big, nice, elaborate house. We get this here with the strip club. Mike chilling with the constructor at the strip club. Kind of just chopping it up. Two guys having a beer. Our guy from last week, Kai, gets a little frisky with one of the strippers. Tries to stick his finger in one. That's not what they said happened, but that's what I imagine happened. That's about the only thing that'll get you in trouble at a strip club, is trying to stick your finger in one of the damn girls. And I think he tried it. So, Mike comes back to the bar and sees the contractor basically breaking down the nuance of pouring 1,000 tons of concrete in an underground bunker and the logistics of all that. So Mike's pretty pissed off about that, gets on his ass about it. We see that Kim and Saul are not really on good terms right now. He thinks it's really, really bad. And Kim's putting pressure on the DA to give up the case. Mike's having to come to Jesus meeting with the contractor about the shit that happened at the bar, about him giving up too much info, and the contractor's all like, yeah, I understand, I fucked up. The judge is pissed off that he's got all these letters, so she decides to call all the people that sent in these fake letters. Well, it's a big elaborate ruse set up by Jimmy, in which he got all these phones, and when they call in, he answers the phone and does this Cajun accent, acting like he's from Louisiana. Now, for some people, this could have been hilarious, right? This could have been the funniest thing about tonight's episode. Could have been the funniest shit you've seen on TV all week. But for me, this is what I mean when Better Call Saul tries to be its own show. It just doesn't hit for me. Some people may have loved this, but we keep seeing these Jimmy being Jimmy roles and shit. And they're hit or miss. That's all I can say. They're hit or miss. It missed for me. This, like I said, this might be the funniest shit somebody ever seen, and I wouldn't doubt that if that's true for people. But for me, it was okay. It wasn't bad at all. But it's just, this wasn't the height of entertainment. Seeing Jimmy do these Cajun voices and shit. But apparently, Kim loved it. Kim loved every minute of this, and it reconnected her back with Jimmy. We see Mike kind of break down the current status of the underground bunker's construction to Gus. It was just a briefing. I mean, this was nothing more than a briefing of what's going on. I would say you could cut this scene, but I guess it's important that Gus actually knows what's going on, and there's been some complications with creating the bunker. So then Kim strolls back around and basically tells Jimmy that she wants to do it again. So he's igniting her bad side. He brings out her bad side. And we did this in season 2, though. We really did. We did the Kim, Jimmy bringing out Kim's bad side against her better wishes. We did all that in season 2 and 3. We did all that. They've had conversations about this. So I don't understand. Like, why are we looping this? This is what I meant earlier when I started off by saying this shit's looping. We did all the Kim as the bad girl, but don't really know if she's in on it. But we did all that shit in season 2. Why are we back here? Unless there's going to be some great consequence for what they just done. So that's why I said I want to see next week's episode. Next week's episode is going to tell me how good this episode actually was. And then finally we get this introduction of this new Salamanca character. He's coming to overwatch the Salamanca's business, make sure everything's okay, which apparently is going to complicate things for Gus and Nacho moving forward, because he's in the mix now. And that's basically tonight's episode of Better Call Saul. Like I said, I can't really give it a grade like I would like to, because I have to see next week if any of this shit means anything, or was this just events that take place on the course of the television show. So right now I'm going to give this show an incomplete. I'll use next week's episode to really judge this one for sure. But I can say that it was a good episode. However, I didn't like it. It was a good episode. Good as far as the quality, the acting, the plot points and things. It was a good episode. I just didn't like it because a lot of it centered around Jimmy with this phone trick shit, and I think that was supposed to be played for laughs and entertainment, and I didn't find that very entertaining. How far into the original show do you think they are going to go? I don't know, and that's a great question, Lucy, because I don't know how many seasons. I mean, this is season 4. I don't know how many seasons they plan on shooting Better Call Saul. This season has been one of the better seasons of this show, but season 2 or 3 of this show are so forgettable. I can barely remember anything that happened. Any really, I mean, I remember vaguely a few things, but I don't know if they just want to do 10 seasons of fucking just we gonna pedal and pedal around for 10 seasons. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the stories of Kim Wexler, the stories of the other lawyer at James McGill at the McGill law firm. The stories of the characters that are new to, and the stories of Nacho, between Nacho, Kim, and I told you I've been loving Kim all year with her acting. But these characters are not, they're not slam dunks. I mean, they're okay. I think it's just to satisfy your thirst of just wanting more Breaking Bad. Yeah, but that's the point I'm making, Lucy. They're not giving us more Breaking Bad. They're giving us more Better Call Saul. I thought this was the first season. No wonder I'm lost and can't follow. Yeah, this is the 4th season, Carolyn. It's funny. But they're giving us more Better Call Saul, and what I mean by that is a couple of episodes ago, I talked about the foreshadowing of Gus having the conversation with Hector in that hospital room, sitting in that chair, and he's sitting in the very position he'll eventually die in. See, that's a direct Easter egg to Breaking Bad. That's direct prequel material, if you will. It's a direct relationship to a major event that happened in Breaking Bad. But anytime we get this looping character, Jimmy's on the phone talking to a bunch of different people in a Cajun voice, being good old Saul Goodman, the trickster. Some people may love it, like I keep saying. For me, it's just, we did a lot of this already. So I don't know. I'm just not taking any of this to the bank. Unless you found that scene very funny, I don't see how you can give tonight's episode a really high mark. Unless you just love Jimmy on the phone with the Cajun accent. If you just found that one of the most hilarious things, then you can give tonight's episode a high mark. But even though I like the actor who plays Saul, he's no Issa Rae. He's not the type of actor. He's no Will Ferrell or no type of charismatic. He's very charismatic, but he's not the actor you can just give him some shit and he can just turn the scene on its head with charisma. I don't know. That sounds kind of negative. He is that type of actor, but I didn't feel it on tonight. So maybe I'm just speaking from my personal perspective, because he is that type of actor. You can just give him something and he can really run with it. But tonight's Cajun phone scene just wasn't funny to me. And if somebody disagrees with that, I'll accept that disagreement, because it's a personal opinion. For those who do not know, I am the Black Guru. What I offer is sage wisdom. I appreciate everybody's time. One love.